I closed my suitcase and zipped it shut while my wife Rebecca stood frozen in the kitchen doorway, her phone still clutched in her hand. "David, please, you're being unreasonable," she said, her voice strained. "Tyler will understand. It's just one birthday." I lifted the suitcase off our bed and walked past her without meeting her eyes. "Jake," I called down the hallway. "Get your backpack. We're leaving." "What?" Rebecca's voice pitched higher. "You can't just take him. Where are you even going?" "My brother's place." I kept my tone flat, emotionless. 7 years of marriage, and it had come to this. My wife forgetting our son's 8th birthday because her ex-husband's mother had a medical emergency. Not a life-threatening emergency. Not even a hospitalization. Patricia had fallen and sprained her ankle, and somehow that warranted Rebecca canceling the birthday party we'd planned for 3 months. "David, Patricia practically raised me. You know how important she is. More important than Jake?" I finally looked at her. "More important than your son's birthday? That's not fair. I said we could do the party next weekend. You said that to him. You looked our 8-year-old son in the eyes 2 hours ago and told him his birthday party was canceled. Do you know what he did?" I didn't wait for her answer. He said, "Okay, Mom," and went to his room. He didn't cry. He didn't argue. He just accepted that he wasn't your priority. Rebecca's face crumpled. "You're twisting this. Tyler's mother is elderly. She's alone, and he asked for my help. Tyler." I let the name hang in the air between us. "Your ex-husband, who you divorced 5 years before we met, called, and you dropped everything, including our son's birthday. It's not about Tyler, it's about Patricia. Then let Tyler handle his own mother." I grabbed my car keys from the dresser. "You made your choice, Rebecca. Now I'm making mine." Jake appeared in the hallway, his small backpack hanging from one shoulder. His eyes were red, but his face was composed in that way that broke my heart. The way kids look when they're trying to be brave. He'd changed out of the birthday outfit Rebecca had bought him last week, now wearing plain jeans and his favorite dinosaur t-shirt. "Ready, buddy?" I asked, softening my voice. He nodded silently. "David, stop." Rebecca moved to block the hallway. "We can talk about this. Don't do this to Jake. Don't make him choose sides." "I'm not making him choose anything. I'm removing him from a situation where he'll always come second to your past." I gently moved her aside. "Jake, go wait in the car, please." My son walked past his mother without looking at her. That hurt more than anything. The way he avoided her gaze, as if looking at her would make something inside him break. Once Jake was out the door, Rebecca grabbed my arm. "This is one incident. One time. You're going to destroy our family over one birthday?" I pulled my arm. Free. "This isn't about one birthday. This is about what that birthday represents." I headed for the door, then paused. "Do you remember 3 months ago when Jake asked if we could go to that comic convention? It was the same weekend as Tyler's wedding to Nicole. You said no because Tyler wanted you there for moral support. I was invited. You were his ex-wife. Nicole's family thought it was weird. Even Tyler's own sister told me she didn't understand why you were so involved still." I shifted the suitcase to my other hand. 2 months ago, Tyler's father had that golf tournament fundraiser. Jake had his school play. You went to the fundraiser. His father has Parkinson's. It might be his last. Jake had the lead role, Rebecca. His first lead role. I recorded it on my phone so you could watch it later. You watched 30 seconds before Tyler called about something and you never finished it." The color drained from her face. I forgot about that." "Exactly. You forget Jake when they call." I opened the front door. "Last month, Tyler needed help organizing Patricia's 70th birthday party. You spent 3 weekends on it. Jake's birthday is today, and you canceled his party this morning. 6 hours before it was supposed to start. 20 kids were supposed to come. I've been calling parents all afternoon, making excuses while you drove to Patricia's house. She sprained her ankle. Tyler has a wife now. Nicole could have helped. His sister Amanda lives 10 minutes from Patricia. But he called you and you went. I stepped onto the porch. Every time they need something, you're there. Every time Jake needs you, there's a reason why they're more important. That's not true. Jake asked me last week if you still loved his dad. The words stopped her cold. Your 8-year-old son asked me if you wished you were still married to Tyler. He asked me if that's why you spend so much time with Tyler's family. What was I supposed to tell him? Rebecca's hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God. I told him you loved him more than anything. I told him you were just being kind to people who had been good to you. I looked at her directly. I lied to our son to protect you. Today I realized I can't keep lying for you. David, please. I'm taking Jake somewhere he knows he's the priority. We'll be at my brother's. When you're ready to put your son first, call. I walked to the car, where Jake sat in the back seat, clutching his backpack. Rebecca followed me down the driveway. You can't just leave. We need to discuss this. Work it out like adults. I opened the driver's door. We've discussed it. Multiple times. You always have a reason. Today was the last time. I climbed in and started the engine. She stood in the driveway as I backed out, her arms wrapped around herself. In the rearview mirror, I saw her getting smaller. Part of me expected to feel guilt or doubt. Instead, I felt relief. Dad? Jake's quiet voice came from the back seat. Yeah, buddy? Are we coming back? I glanced at him in the mirror. His eyes were hopeful and scared at the same time. Not tonight. Maybe not for a while. Is that okay? He was quiet for a long moment. Is it because Mom forgot my birthday? It's because... I paused, choosing my words carefully. It's because sometimes people don't realize what they're doing until something makes them stop and see it clearly. Your mom needs to see some things clearly. Does she love Mr. Tyler more than us? The question stabbed through me. No, buddy. She loves you very much. She's confused about some things right now. Okay. He looked out the window. Uncle Chris has that big TV. Can we watch a movie? Absolutely. And tomorrow we're having your birthday party. Just you, me, Uncle Chris, and Aunt Jennifer. We'll make it special. What about the kids from school? I'll reschedule something with them next weekend. But tomorrow is your actual birthday, and we're celebrating it properly. He nodded, seemingly satisfied with that answer. My brother Chris lived 40 minutes away in a suburb with tree-lined streets and houses with actual yards. His wife Jennifer was an elementary school teacher, and they had twin girls, Emma and Olivia, who were 6. They'd always liked Jake, and more importantly, their home was stable and predictable. I called Chris while driving. Hey, I need a favor, a big one. Name it. Can Jake and I stay with you for a while? Maybe a week or 2? There was barely a pause. Of course. What happened? Rebecca happened. I'll explain when I get there. We'll get the guest room ready. Jennifer's making pot roast for dinner. There's plenty. Thanks, Chris. We'll be there in 20 minutes. When I hung up, I felt some of the tension in my shoulders ease. Chris and I had always been close. He'd never particularly liked Rebecca, though he'd been polite for my sake. He'd made one comment years ago, after meeting her for the first time. She talks about her ex a lot. I'd dismissed it then. I shouldn't have. We pulled up to Chris's house just as the sun was setting. The porch light was on, and Chris stood in the doorway, backlit and solid. He'd always been the bigger brother. Not just older by 3 years, but literally bigger, broad-shouldered and 6'3". He made people feel safe. Jake unbuckled himself and grabbed his backpack. "Uncle Chris!" He ran up the driveway, and Chris scooped him up easily. "There's the birthday boy, 8 years old, practically ancient." Jake managed to smile. "Not until tomorrow." "Close enough? We've got presents inside." Chris set him down. "Go find Aunt Jennifer and the girls. They're in the living room." Jake disappeared inside, and Chris turned to me, his expression shifting to concern. "Talk to me." I grabbed my suitcase from the trunk. Rebecca forgot Jake's birthday. Actually, she didn't forget. She canceled his party to go help her ex-husband's mother with a sprained ankle. Chris's eyebrows rose. Jesus. It's been building for months, maybe longer. I just kept making excuses for it. We walked inside. She's still entangled with Tyler's whole family. Every time they need something, she drops everything, including Jake. Have you talked to her about it? Multiple times. She always has a reason why this particular situation requires her immediate attention. I set the suitcase down in the foyer. Today, Jake asked me if she still loves Tyler. That's when I knew I couldn't keep pretending this was normal. Chris squeezed my shoulder. "You did the right thing. Stay as long as you need." Jennifer appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. She'd always reminded me of a Disney princess. Kind eyes, patient smile, the type of person who made you feel heard. "David, I'm so sorry. We're going to make sure Jake has a wonderful birthday tomorrow." "Thank you. Both of you. I don't know what I would have done otherwise." "Your family," she said simply. "Now come eat. Dinner's ready, and the kids are already at the table." Dinner was surprisingly normal. Jake sat between his cousins, and they chattered about school and toys and some animated movie I'd never heard of. He laughed twice, real laughs, not the forced kind. Watching him, I knew I'd made the right decision. After dinner, while Jennifer got the kids ready for bed, Chris and I sat on the back deck with beers. "So what's the plan?" Chris asked. "Honestly, I don't know. I needed to remove Jake from the situation immediately. Beyond that," I shrugged. "I guess it depends on Rebecca." "You think she'll change?" "I think she doesn't see the problem. In her mind, she's being kind and helpful to people who were once family to her. She doesn't see that she's neglecting her actual family in the process." "How long has the Tyler thing been going on?" "They divorced 10 years ago. She says they stayed friends because the divorce was amicable. No kids, no drama, they just wanted different things." I took a long drink. When I met her, I thought it was mature, healthy even, that they could be civil. There's civil and then there's whatever this is. Yeah. I stared at the label on my beer bottle. I think part of her never fully let go. Not romantically, maybe, but emotionally. His family is her family. His problems are her problems. And somehow, in all of that, Jake and I became secondary. "What are you going to tell her when she calls?" "That I'm not coming back until something changes. Real change, not promises." I looked at Chris. "Do you think I'm overreacting?" "No." His answer was immediate and firm. "If anything, you probably should have done this months ago. Kids know when they're not a priority. Jake's 8 and already questioning his mother's love. That's not something that should be happening." My phone buzzed. Rebecca. I declined the call. It buzzed again, 30 down, seconds later. Another call. I declined. Then a text. "Please answer. We need to talk." I typed back, "Not tonight. Jake needs stability right now, not more drama." "Drama? I'm his mother." "Then act like it. He's with me. He's safe. That's all you need to know tonight." I silenced my phone and put it face down on the table. "She's going to keep calling," Chris said. "Probably. But I need at least tonight without her explanations and justifications." I finished my beer. Tomorrow's Jake's birthday. I want him to wake up feeling special, not caught in the middle of his parents fighting. Fair enough. Jennifer and I will make sure it's a good day. We sat in silence for a while, listening to crickets and the distant sound of traffic. It was peaceful in a way my house hadn't been in months, maybe longer. "You can stay here as long as you need," Chris said eventually. "Seriously, the guest room is yours." "Thanks, brother. I mean it." That night, I tucked Jake into the guest room bed. He looked small under the unfamiliar blankets, clutching the stuffed triceratops he'd had since he was 3. "Dad?" "Yeah? Is tomorrow still going to be good? Even without Mom?" The question hurt, but I kept my voice steady. "Tomorrow is going to be great. We've got presents, cake, and Uncle Chris promised to take us to that arcade you like." "The one with the racing games?" "That exact one. And we're ordering pizza, any toppings you want." He smiled. "Even pineapple?" "Even pineapple, you little weirdo." I kissed his forehead. "Get some sleep. Big day tomorrow." "Dad? Thanks for not being mad at me." I froze. "Mad at you? Buddy, none of this is your fault." "I know, but sometimes when parents fight, it's about the kids. You and Mom aren't fighting about me, right?" "No, this isn't about you at all. You're perfect. This is about grown-up stuff that your mom and I need to figure out. But you didn't do anything wrong, okay?" "Okay." He yawned. "Love you, Dad." "Love you too, buddy. Happy almost birthday." I left the door cracked and went back downstairs. Jennifer was in the kitchen, packing a lunch for the next day. "He's a good kid," she said without looking up. "You're doing the right thing, protecting him." "I hope so. Part of me wonders if I'm being too harsh." "David, I teach 8-year-olds. I see kids every day whose parents are distracted or checked out. Those kids carry it with them, the feeling that they're not important. They act out or they shut down. Jake's already showing signs of shutting down." She closed the lunchbox and turned to face me. "You stopping that pattern now might save him years of therapy later." "Rebecca's not a bad person. I didn't say she was. But she's being a bad mother right now, whether she realizes it or not. And Jake is the one paying for it." I nodded slowly. "Thank you. For letting us stay. For understanding. We love you both. You're not imposing." She smiled. "Now go get some rest. You look exhausted." I was exhausted. Bone-deep tired in a way that wasn't just about lack of sleep. It was emotional fatigue, the kind that comes from carrying something heavy for too long and finally setting it down. In the guest room, I checked my phone. 15 missed calls from Rebecca. 23 texts, ranging from apologetic to angry to desperate. "Please come home. We can fix this." "You're being cruel. Jake needs his mother. I can't believe you'd do this to our family. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please answer." I typed one response. "Jake's birthday is tomorrow. I'm not ruining it with arguments. We'll talk when I'm ready." Then I turned off my phone completely and plugged it in to charge. The next morning, I woke to the smell of bacon and pancakes. Sunlight streamed through the guest room window, and for a moment I forgot where I was. Then it all came back. Rebecca, the canceled party, the decision to leave. I checked my phone. 32 more messages from Rebecca, sent between midnight and 5 a.m. I didn't read them. Instead, I got dressed and went downstairs. The kitchen was chaos in the best way. Jake sat at the table wearing a paper crown that said "Birthday King" in glitter. Emma and Olivia were decorating pancakes with way too much whipped cream and sprinkles. Jennifer supervised while Chris flipped bacon at the stove. "There he is," Chris announced. "The birthday boy's dad." Jake grinned at me, a real, genuine grin that made everything worth it. "Dad, look at my pancakes. They're dinosaurs." "I see that. Very fierce dinosaurs." I ruffled his hair and accepted the coffee Jennifer handed me. "We've got presents after breakfast," Emma announced. "But you can't open them until we sing." "Them's the rules," Chris agreed solemnly. We ate breakfast together, and it felt like family. Real family. The kind where everyone's present mentally and emotionally, not just physically. After breakfast, we moved to the living room. Jennifer had decorated with streamers and balloons overnight. Blue and green, Jake's favorite colors. There was a small pile of presents on the coffee table. "Okay, Birthday King," Chris said. "But first, the song." They sang, off-key and enthusiastic, while Jake sat on the couch looking happier than I'd seen him in months. When they finished, he blew out the candle on the single cupcake Jennifer had brought out. "Make a wish," Olivia reminded him. Jake closed his eyes tight, then blew. The candle went out on the first try. "What did you wish for?" Emma asked. "Can't tell, or it won't come true," Jake said seriously. He opened presents, a new video game from Chris and Jennifer, a comic book set from his cousins, and from me, the telescope he'd been asking about for months. "For looking at stars and planets," I explained. "We can set it up tonight if the sky's clear." "This is awesome." He hugged me tight. "Best birthday ever." The words made my chest ache. This wasn't the party we'd planned. No bounce house, no 20 school friends, no elaborate decorations. Just family and genuine attention. And it was enough. It was better than enough. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I ignored it. We spent the day at the arcade like I'd promised. Jake played racing games and won enough tickets for a cheap plastic sword. Chris and I played basketball hoops and lost miserably to our kids. Jennifer took 100 photos, documenting everything. For lunch, we got pizza, with pineapple, as requested. Jake told bad jokes between bites, and Emma and Olivia laughed at all of them. "Why did the dinosaur cross the road?" Jake asked. "Why?" the girls chorused. "Because chickens weren't invented yet." They dissolved into giggles. Chris caught my eye and smiled. This was what childhood should look like. My phone rang during lunch. "Rebecca." I declined and put the phone face down on the table. "You have to talk to her eventually," Chris said quietly while the kids were distracted. "I know, but not today. Today is Jake's." That evening, after dinner, hamburgers on the grill, we set up the telescope in Chris's backyard. The night was clear, and Jake pressed his eye to the lens, searching for stars. "I see one! It's really bright." "That's probably Venus," Chris said. "It's a planet, not a star." "Whoa! Can we see more planets?" "Let's find out." I stood back, watching Jake's excitement, and pulled out my phone. Time to deal with reality. 58 missed calls, over 100 texts. The most recent, sent an hour ago. "Patricia is fine. I'm home. Please bring Jake back. I need to see my son on his birthday." I stepped away from the telescope and called her. She answered before the first ring finished. "David, I'm not coming home tonight. It's Jake's birthday. It's 8 p.m. His birthday is almost over. You missed it." "I didn't miss it." "Yes, you did. You made a choice yesterday, and you missed it. He had a great day, by the way. My brother's family made sure of that. I'm his mother. Then be his mother. Not Tyler's ex-wife, not Patricia's surrogate daughter. Be Jake's mother. I kept my voice level. When you're ready to do that, really do that. Not just say it. Call me. What does that even mean? You want me to cut Tyler out of my life? I want you to have appropriate boundaries. Tyler has a wife now. His family has him and his siblings. You don't need to be their emergency contact anymore. Patricia is like a mother to me. And Jake is your actual son. There's a hierarchy here, Rebecca. And lately Tyler's family ranks higher than yours. That has to change. She was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was small. What do you want me to do? I want you to think about why Tyler still calls you first when there's a problem. I want you to think about what message that sends to Nicole, to me, to Jake. And I want you to think about whether you've ever told Tyler no. I have. When? Name one time you told him you couldn't help because you had plans with Jake. Silence. That's what I thought. I watched Jake adjust the telescope, Chris guiding his hands. Take some time. Really think about what you want and what's fair to everyone involved. We'll talk in a few days. A few days? David, I can't. Yes, you can. Jake is safe, happy, and cared for. You don't need to see him tonight to know that. What you need is perspective. Don't punish me. I'm not punishing you. I'm protecting our son from a situation that was hurting him. There's a difference. I softened my tone slightly. Rebecca, I don't hate you. I don't want to hurt you. But something has to change, and it's not going to change if I just bring Jake home and pretend this is fine. I'll change, I promise. Promises are easy. Action is hard. Show me through action, not words. I paused. I'll call you in 2 days. Use that time to think. Can I at least talk to Jake? Wish him happy birthday? I hesitated. Part of me wanted to say no, to make her feel the absence the way Jake had felt it. But that would be cruel. Hold on. I walked back to the telescope. Jake, your mom's on the phone. She wants to wish you happy birthday. His face lit up, then dimmed slightly, a flicker of uncertainty. Okay. I handed him the phone and stepped back to give him privacy, though I stayed close enough to intervene if needed. Hi, Mom. Yeah, it was good. Uncle Chris took us to the arcade. No, we haven't had cake yet. Aunt Jennifer made one shaped like a dinosaur. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Love you too. Bye. He handed the phone back to me. She said sorry. I know, buddy. She sounded sad. She probably is. Is she sad because I had fun without her? The question showed an emotional intelligence that 8-year-olds shouldn't need to have. No, she's sad because she wishes she could have been here, and she should have been. But I'm glad you had fun anyway. Me too. He turned back to the telescope. Can we see Jupiter? Let's find out. Rebecca was still on the line. I raised the phone back to my ear. You heard him. He's fine. He sounded happy. Her voice cracked. He sounded happier than he's been in weeks. Yeah. I didn't elaborate. I really messed up, didn't I? You made a choice. Whether it was messed up depends on whether you learn from it. I don't know what to do, David. I don't know how to fix this. Start by figuring out why you keep choosing Tyler's needs over Jake's. There's something there, some reason you can't let go. Until you understand what that is, nothing's going to change. Maybe I should, I don't know, talk to someone? A therapist? That might help? It was the first constructive thing she'd said. But Rebecca, whatever you do, you need to do it for the right reasons. Not to get me to come home, but because you genuinely see the problem. I do see it. Talking to Jake, hearing how happy he sounded, it made me realize how much I've been missing, how checked out I've been. Good, that's a start. I watched Jake exclaim over something he'd found with the telescope. I need to go. We'll talk in 2 days. David, wait. 2 days, Rebecca. Use them wisely. I hung up and pocketed my phone, then rejoined my son at the telescope. Dad, look. I think it's Saturn. You can see the rings and everything. I looked through the lens. There it was. A tiny, distinct shape with visible rings. That's amazing, buddy. Good eye. This is the coolest present ever. Can we use it every night? Every clear night, I promised. Chris came over and clapped me on the shoulder. How'd it go? She's starting to see it, I think. But we'll see if it sticks. And if it doesn't? Then I guess I'm looking for an apartment and a lawyer. It won't come to that, Jennifer said, joining us. She sounded genuine when she talked to Jake just now. That's something. Maybe. I wasn't ready to hope yet. Hope was dangerous. It made you vulnerable to disappointment. That night, tucking Jake in again, he seemed lighter somehow. Less burdened. Dad, this was actually a really good birthday. I'm glad. You deserve good birthdays. When are we going home? I don't know yet. How do you feel about staying here a bit longer? He thought about it. It's nice here. Emma and Olivia are fun, and Uncle Chris has all the good video games. True. Is it okay if we stay a few more days? Yeah, that's okay. He yawned. Will Mom be different when we go back? I hope so, but I don't know for sure. If she's not, can we come back here? The question revealed more than he probably meant it to. Yes, absolutely. You'll always have somewhere safe, okay? That's a promise. Okay. Love you, Dad. Love you too, birthday boy. I left the room feeling simultaneously proud and heartbroken. Proud that I'd given Jake a good birthday despite everything. Heartbroken that he already understood, at 8 years old, that his mother might not change. The next morning, I called my office and requested a week of personal leave. My boss, Tom, was understanding. Family stuff? He asked. Yeah, wife and I are having some issues. Need time to sort it out. Take what you need. We've got you covered here. Thanks, Tom. One problem solved. The bigger ones remained. I spent the day helping Chris with yard work, while Jennifer took the kids to a museum. It felt good to do something physical, to work out the tension in my shoulders and back. You thought about what you're actually asking for? Chris said while we raked leaves. Like, specifically? Some boundaries with Tyler and his family. Concrete ones. Such as? No more dropping everything when Tyler calls. No more prioritizing his family's events over Jake's. No more being the first person Tyler contacts in an emergency. That's reasonable. What else? I leaned on the rake. Honestly, I think she needs to reduce contact significantly. Not cut them out completely, but scale way back. Birthday cards, maybe Christmas. Not weekly phone calls and constant involvement. Will she go for that? I don't know. Part of me thinks she won't because letting go of them means accepting that part of her life is over. And I don't think she's accepted it. You think she still has feelings for Tyler? Not romantic ones, necessarily, but emotional ones, definitely. There's unfinished business there. Until she deals with it, we're stuck. Chris nodded thoughtfully. You prepared for this to end your marriage? The question hung in the air. Was I? A week ago, I would have said no. But now, having seen Jake thrive with just 2 days away from the tension, having felt the relief of not constantly competing with Rebecca's past. Yeah, I said finally. If it comes to that, I'm prepared. I don't want it to, but I won't stay in a marriage where my son comes second to her ex-husband's family. I won't model that for Jake. Good man. We finished the yard work in silence, then sat on the back deck with cold beers. You know what I keep thinking about? I said. The school play. Jake was the lead, this huge deal for him. Rebecca missed it for a golf tournament. And I made excuses for her to Jake, told him the tournament was really important for Tyler's dad because of his health. But Tyler's dad is fine. Still golfing regularly, living independently. It wasn't some last hurrah. It was just a fundraiser, and Rebecca prioritized it over watching our son perform for the first time. Have you told her this? I tried. She said she'd make the next one, but she's said that about a dozen things now. I'll make it up to him. Next time will be different. It's never different. Chris took a long drink. Here's what I think. Either she's completely oblivious to what she's doing, which seems unlikely given how many times you've brought it up, or she knows and can't stop herself. And if she can't stop herself, that's a problem therapy might fix, or it might not. You think I should just divorce her? I think you should set a clear line and stick to it. If she crosses it again, you'll know what to do. My phone rang. Rebecca again. I answered this time. Hi. Hi. She sounded nervous. I've been thinking. A lot. About everything you said. And? You're right. About all of it. I've been prioritizing Tyler's family over you and Jake, and it's not fair. It's not okay. Okay. I waited for the but. I called Tyler this morning. I told him I need to step back from being so involved with his family, that I need to focus on my own family. How'd he take it? He was confused at first. Then he said he understood. He apologized, actually. Said he didn't realize he'd been leaning on me so much and that Nicole had mentioned it bothered her too. Nicole said something? Apparently she's been uncomfortable with how often Tyler calls me for months. She just didn't want to start drama. Rebecca's voice was small. I didn't see it, or I didn't want to see it, but I'm seeing it now. That's a start? What else? I called Patricia, told her I wouldn't be able to help out as much anymore. She was actually really sweet about it, said she understood and that Tyler should be handling more things himself anyway. Okay. She took a breath. I made an appointment with a therapist for Thursday. I think I need to understand why I couldn't let go, why I kept choosing them over my own family. I felt something loosen in my chest. That's good, Rebecca. That's really good. Can you come home? Can we talk in person? Not yet. You've made good first steps, but I need to see consistency. Actions over time, not just words in a moment. How long? The rest of the week. Stay at the house, go to work, see your therapist. Next Sunday, we'll meet somewhere neutral and talk properly. Bring your therapist's homework or whatever comes out of that first session. A whole week? Rebecca, you forgot our son's birthday. That can't be fixed with a few phone calls and good intentions. I need to see that you mean it. She was quiet for a long moment. You're right. Okay. A week. But David, I am going to fix this. I promise you, I'm going to fix this. I hope so, for all our sakes. After we hung up, Chris raised his eyebrows. Well? She's taking steps, called Tyler and set boundaries, made a therapy appointment. You believe her? I want to, but I've heard promises before. This time, I need proof. The week passed in a strange sort of limbo. I stayed at Chris's house, taking Jake to school each morning and picking him up each afternoon. We did homework at the kitchen table, played video games with his cousins, and used the telescope every clear night. Rebecca texted daily. Updates from therapy, things she was learning about herself, apologies. I responded politely, but didn't engage deeply. Not yet. Thursday night, she sent a long message. My therapist says I've been using Tyler's family as a crutch. After our divorce, I felt like I'd failed at marriage, and staying close to his family was a way to prove I wasn't a bad person. That the divorce wasn't my fault. But in doing that, I neglected the family I built with you. I made my past more important than my present. I see that now, and I'm so sorry. It was the most self-aware thing she'd said in months. Maybe years. By Sunday, I felt ready to talk. Chris and Jennifer offered to watch Jake for the afternoon, and Rebecca and I met at a coffee shop halfway between Chris's house and ours. She looked tired when she walked in. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back messily. She'd lost weight, I realized. Just in a week, she looked smaller. "Hi," she said, sitting across from me. "Hi. How are you?" "Terrible. The house feels empty without you both. I haven't slept well, but I've been doing the work." She pulled out a notebook. "My therapist gave me assignments. Want to see?" "Sure." She opened the notebook. The pages were covered in her handwriting. Lists, reflections, timelines. This is every time I chose Tyler's family over Jake in the last 6 months. There are 43 instances. I stared at the number. 43. Nearly twice a week. I didn't realize it was so many until I wrote them all down. Her voice shook. 43 times I told my son he wasn't my priority. 43 times I broke his heart a little bit. No wonder he asked you if I still loved Tyler. "Rebecca, no, let me finish. I need to say this." She wiped her eyes. "My therapist helped me understand something. When Tyler and I divorced, I blamed myself. I thought if I'd just been better, more understanding, more flexible, we wouldn't have split it. Staying close to his family was my way of proving I was still valuable, still worthy. But I was chasing validation from people who weren't my family anymore. And in doing that, I ignored the people who actually are my family. Why didn't you tell me you felt that way about the divorce?" "Because I was ashamed. And because you seemed so confident, so sure about us, that I didn't want to ruin it with my baggage." She looked up at me, tears streaming. "But I brought the baggage anyway. I just hid it poorly." I reached across the table and took her hand. "What now?" "Now I change. Really change. I've already blocked Tyler's number except for absolute emergencies. I sent Patricia a nice card but explained I need distance. I told Tyler's sister Amanda that I can't be involved in family planning anymore." "How'd they react?" "Tyler was hurt but said he understood. Patricia sent a sweet note saying she appreciated everything I'd done and supported my decision. Amanda was actually relieved, said she'd always thought it was weird how involved I stayed." "And therapy?" "Twice a week for now. My therapist thinks we should do couples counseling too, once you're ready." "I think that's smart." "So, what does this mean? For us?" She looked terrified of my answer. I considered carefully. "It means we try. You've done good work this week, but 1 week doesn't undo months of problems. I need to see sustained change, and Jake needs to feel secure that he's your priority." "He is. I swear to you, he is." "Then prove it. Not to me. To him." I squeezed her hand. "We'll come home next weekend. But we're taking it slow. If you backslide, if Tyler calls and you jump, I'm taking Jake and we're done. No more chances." "I understand. That's fair." She wiped her face. "Can I see him before next weekend?" "Sure. Come to Chris's for dinner tomorrow. Spend some time with Jake. Show him your present." "Thank you." Her voice broke. "Thank you for not giving up on us." "I haven't given up. But I'm also not going to sacrifice Jake's well-being for a marriage that might not make it." He comes first. Always. He comes first, she repeated. I promise you, David, he comes first from now on. That night, I told Jake his mom was coming for dinner the next day. Is she different? He asked immediately. I think so, but you'll have to decide for yourself. If she's not, we can stay here longer. Right? Right. We're not going back until you feel comfortable. He nodded, satisfied. Rebecca came to dinner Monday night with a gift bag. Inside was a new comic book series Jake had mentioned wanting, a card with a handwritten apology, and a certificate promising 12 Mom and Jake days. Whole Saturdays devoted just to him, doing whatever he wanted. You don't have to forgive me right away, she told him while we sat on Chris's back porch. I messed up. I wasn't paying attention to what mattered most. But I'm going to do better. And if I don't, you tell your dad, and he'll make sure you're okay. Jake studied her seriously. You promise? I promise. You're the most important person in my world, and I'm going to make sure you know that every single day. He hugged her then, and she held him like she was afraid he'd disappear. Watching them, I felt cautiously hopeful. Over the next few days, Rebecca came by daily. She played video games with Jake, helped with homework, asked about his day, and actually listened to the answers. The change was noticeable. Thursday night, Jake asked, Dad, can we go home this weekend? You feel ready? Yeah, I miss my room, and Mom seems better. Okay, we'll go home Saturday. Saturday morning, we packed up. Chris pulled me aside while Jennifer helped Jake gather his things. You sure about this? He asked. No, but I think it's worth trying, and if it doesn't work, we know we can come back. Always. Doors always open. We drove home mid-morning. Rebecca had decorated, welcome home signs, Jake's favorite snacks on the counter, his room cleaned and organized. Welcome home, she said, nervous energy evident in every movement. Jake ran inside to check his room. Rebecca and I stood in the kitchen. Thank you, she said quietly, for giving me another chance. Don't thank me. Just keep doing the work. I will, every day. And she did. The first month was hard. There were moments when her phone rang and I could see her instinct to answer, to jump to solve someone else's problem. But she let them go to voicemail. She checked in with me before making plans. She prioritized Jake's schedule over everything else. Tyler called once, about a month in. Rebecca answered on speakerphone with me there. Hey Rebecca, Patricia's having a birthday party next month. We'd love if you could help plan it. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't. I'm focusing on my family right now. Oh, okay, no problem. Nicole can handle it. She can. And Tyler, you should probably delete my number from your favorites. I'm not your go-to person anymore. Right, got it. Take care, Rebecca. She hung up and looked at me. How was that? Perfect. Couples therapy helped us navigate the rough patches. We learned to communicate better, to recognize when old patterns were creeping back, to put Jake first, without discussion. 6 months later, we threw Jake a half-birthday party, an over-the-top celebration with all the school friends, the bounce house, everything we'd planned for his actual birthday. In his speech before cake, Jake said, "This is awesome. But my real birthday was awesome too, just in a different way." Rebecca cried. Happy tears this time. It wasn't perfect. We still had arguments, still had moments of tension. But the fundamental problem had been addressed. Jake came first. I came second. Everything else fell after that. One night, almost a year after I'd left, Rebecca and I sat on our back porch watching Jake use his telescope. I almost lost everything, she said quietly. My marriage, my son, because I couldn't let go of something that was already gone. But you didn't lose it. You fought for it. We fought for it. She took my hand. Thank you for loving me enough to leave when I needed you to. That took courage. Thank you for loving Jake enough to change. That took even more. Jake called from the yard. Dad, Mom, come look. I found Jupiter's moons. We walked over together, a family finally focused on what mattered. Not the past or what could have been, but the present and what was.